obviously camera technology at NAB, I mean, this is kind of what it's all about, right? Broadcast professionals, all sorts of cameras, lenses, the whole 9 yards. This is where you got to come if you want to check out the latest and greatest. And Canon is no stranger to that world. Alex Sachs, Pro Market Specialist for Canon, is here at the stage. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. It's great to get you here on the stage to kind of talk about some really interesting stuff, especially a little bit later we'll talk about how this is being applied to kind of the big screen, which you know everybody can kind of rush out and enjoy. Cool stuff there. Before we get there, you guys have had some pretty awesome announcements here. Let's start with cameras, the ME200S SH camera. Tell us a little bit about this.
Well, it's the second, excuse me, it's the second in our multi-purpose series. So we had a camera come out called the ME20. It's a low-light camera. It's really, really amazing. It's probably the best low-light camera in the world with a really large sensor in it. And then we released this camera, which has the same body size and weight, but with a Super 35 size sensor on the inside of it. And what's amazing about that is it opens up dual pixel autofocus. It opens up a lot of the things that you get from a C100 Mark II, whereas our big brother kind of ME20 camera was really a new sensor. It was something that no one had seen before because we made the photo sites really large. And originally the camera was intended for military applications, but again, we call it multi-purpose because the idea is it can be used for a lot of different types of shoots.
I mean, the thing is super compact.
Oh yeah,
it's such a tight little package.
Yeah, and what's cool is it's one of the first cinema products we've had with straight edges, and that's something that we've been pushing on Canon Inc. to say, you know, a lot of the cinema customers are looking for something a little bit more easy to manipulate and easy to build off of. A lot of our cinema products look more like a hybrid DSLR. They've it looks like a DSLR that's kind of been pulled and stretched almost on steroids a little bit.
Right.
And this is kind of the first cinema product that we've seen that is has straight edges, which sounds like it's something like people wouldn't want, but the cinema world wants to be able to build it. You know, so the idea is they make it square and then they start putting accessories on it. So when we made the ME20, it's a incredible low light camera. It's also a large sensor cinema camera. This is something that we kind of have just started to realize how special that is, because if you want full frame right now, you have to use a DSLR or you have to use a very, very expensive product that's out there. So we've kind of brought this full frame cinematography to the mass market, you know, with this incredible new sensor. But so and that's the ME20. The ME200, which is what we announced at NAB this year, is kind of the little brother to it. It's a much more affordable price point. It's got a smaller sensor. You know, a lot of our zooms and stuff cover Super 35, so on the bigger sensor, they weren't able to really be used. So now we have a product that you can kind of modularly rig on your shoulder or on a fixed lens or on a gimbal or a drone. It's kind of, you know, again, it's called multi-purpose, so it can go on many different ways.
I love it. I love just how compact the back kind of control panel is. Everything that you need is there, but there's really no wasted space on this thing, even though it's a tiny little cube.
Yeah, I mean, there's no. It's funny. There's no internal battery. There's no recorder. It's very simple. That's what I like about it. It's kind of been boiled down to just doing one thing really well, and that's you know, just creating a great image. And then so you'll need an external recorder. You'll need rigging and things for it. But that's the idea. Is if you need to mount it somewhere, you know, in a fixed camera area, you don't need all the pieces. You can kind of take it apart and just have a really small little lens box, or you can build it up.
Yeah, or if you know, I'm sure there are plenty of applications where the large camera, you know, it just doesn't fit where it needs to go, and this is a tiny little.
Yeah, the idea is to be flexible. Yeah,
yeah,
you know, if you're a cinema person, you may want to consider a cinema camera, but if you're someone who's doing a lot of these different types of shoots, or you're looking for added value for a camera that can do different things, this is probably the right tool for you.
Excellent. So cinema keeps coming up. You have the 1880 compact servo. It's a cinema lens. Tell us about that.
I'm so excited about this. This is something that we didn't know was coming, and it's really a cool market because a lot of my customers who do reality TV shooting and they need that ENG servo style zoom, you know, the only price point we had at this point was closer to $30,000. So if you know, with Deadliest Catch is one of our customers, and they said, hey, when can we get an EF lens with a rocker on it, you know, and we were like, yeah, that'd be something really cool. And we released a really interesting lens that's more of a DIY YouTube shooter with a little motor on the bottom, but this is actually more of a cinema lens that's come out. So it has an integrated servo on the side of it, and what's really exciting is the power comes from the mount. So you don't actually need power. It's going to pull it right from that EF mount through the camera. So that's what's really exciting about it. And you can see kind of, you know, the integrated servo. That actually doesn't come off, but then we made a grip as well. So if you want to get it up on your shoulder or mount it to a handheld rig, it's a really, really amazing situation, and something that, you know, the idea is don't think of it as a rehoused still lens. It's really more of a really well-priced cinema lens because there's minimal breathing on it. You know, it really has a lot of those cinema features to it. nice smooth round bokeh, things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like it has nice extension on it.
Yeah, and the other thing is too, we've been told this is the first in a series. So our customers, we realized there was a hole kind of in the market between our really high-end cinema lenses and our still lenses. So we're right in this price point of about $5,500. That's right between a still lens and a $20,000 compact zoom. So really amazing to kind of open this world up to people who wanted a cinema lens but maybe couldn't get to that price point. And then also people who have a cinema lens but are looking for something maybe a little more lightweight for small handheld work or on a documentary or something like that, and still want that servo but don't want to lug maybe their 17 to 120 or our ridiculous 50 to 1,000.
Sure. Okay, so talking about price point, we actually didn't talk about it on either of these cameras, but let's start with this one first, the 1880 compact servo. What's that going to set people back?
So it's going to be $5,500, and then the grip that you don't need the grip to make the zoom work, but it's just more of an added convenience, is another $500. So about $6,000.
Yeah, $6,000.
Yeah,
not bad. And then how about the ME200S?
ME200 is going to be $5,999, so just under $6,000. So really, really amazing camera. The lens is kind of this revolutionary price point with the functionality, because what I've found about it too is a lot of the times if you need multiple things on a shoot, you actually do need some zoom shots, but you also want a servo. You have to usually bring multiple lenses. This one could be full manual or complete auto. That's what's really cool about it. It's got our dual pixel autofocus, stabilization, a lot of really amazing auto iris, which is kind of more of a broadcast style feature. So we'll still get some of those broadcast guys who are looking for that type of feature. Really, really exciting lens. It's very, very versatile.
Excellent, excellent. All right, so let's talk a little bit about 4K, 8K. There's just so much going on in this space right now. I know that I read a little bit about some prototype 8K cameras and lenses that you have at your booth. Also, the 8K ride experience, which apparently I need to stop by and check out sometime today.
Oh my God, the 8K ride is so amazing because what we've done is it's 4 4K projectors creating an 8K image, and then 2 projectors on the side to kind of create peripheral vision. So you know how your peripheral vision's a little soft? So when you're standing there and you're staring right at the front of the screen, it's feeling like it's you on there, because of the resolution and because of the simulated kind of peripheral thing. The first time I saw it, we had it at Expo this last year. It was just amazing. I couldn't even believe it. So I would encourage you and definitely anyone to check it out, because no one else really has an experience like this. But what's really amazing is, we're showing 8K. We don't really have a commercial 8K product. It's more of look at what Canon can do with the technology. So we have an 8K camera, which is really it's kind of an interesting way we did it. It's 4 4K images to 4 Odyssey 7Qs, and then we just take those 4 4K images to create an 8K image. So really kind of interesting way to approach that right now. We had to create an 8K lens for it. We had to create a specific body that could split each quadrant into 4K, and then we would kind of piece it together. And then when you create 8K, you need something to show it on. You could shoot 8K and then look at it on 4K, and you're not really doing it justice. So we created these amazing 8K displays. Again, we're not commercially available, maybe not for a while or ever, but the idea is look at what we can do. And what I love about 8K is it's just to the point of human vision. So when you're staring at that display, we don't need 3D anymore. It kind of becomes that real 3D because the depth is there, the resolution is there. I mean, after 8K, your eyes can't really resolve it anyway. So we're gonna have to start making a new eyeball for people if they want to go higher than 8K. So really, really interesting stuff. Definitely worthwhile.
I will absolutely stop by and check that out. And people who aren't at NAB obviously might have a hard time checking that out.
Absolutely.
Something that they might have the ability to check out, though. It's this month, right? A Beautiful Planet.
Oh yeah.
IMAX, shot with a Canon EOS C500 and an EOS 1D C cinema cameras in 4K.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about this, because this sounds like first of all, it sounds like an amazing experience. Yeah. But I don't know, can you shed some kind of background on this?
Absolutely. I mean, it's an amazing film. I've only seen little bits of it. It's still kind of, we've had some previews here and there, but I saw about 40 minutes of it screened at the Chinese Theater in California, and this was a real IMAX projection of it, and it was just unbelievable. I mean, at that point, a lot of people know the C500. It's an amazing camera, but it requires external recording. But the image that comes out of it in our RAW is just gorgeous. And what they also did was they put some of our still cameras and just shot 3 or 4 seconds 3 or 4 frames per second and kind of interpolate it into this beautiful, smooth gliding motion. So it's almost like literally the cameras outside of the space station just gently gliding over the Earth, and they're photographing Earth from these really amazing heights, because it's not just like, you know, a tiny little version of Earth. You're seeing the scope of maybe Texas and the oil fires burning at night, and it just gives you a really window into what's going on in our planet. I mean, I've never seen Earth like this. That's what's so beautiful about it. And you just have this amazing sensory experience when you kind of get into it, because, you know, they were able to get such amazing access. And one thing that I was always really proud of is that the cinematographer on this project tested a lot of cameras and came away with that the C500 was the image that he wanted. It wasn't something that was like, oh, Canon's going to help with it. It was really a scrutinized decision for IMAX and for the cinematographer, and they said C500 is the right thing for us. I mean, they have other considerations as well. Bringing a camera into space is a whole different thing. You know, we had to replace cameras every few months, because what happens in the atmosphere is the sensors start to degrade because of just there's no gravity and things up there, and there's no real way to clean things. So you know, every camera, that's going to happen up in space. So it was a really cool thing. One of our guys, Tim Smith, was actively involved with this project. He's, you know, knows the cinematographer very well, and just, you know, kind of geeked out about the process. I think he secretly wants to be an astronaut, to be totally honest with you. So he really loves
this. This is
the
a good
process.
way to get yourself close.
Oh yeah. No, it's really amazing. I can't wait to see it in the theater, because you know, to me, no one's really seen the Earth like this before. The distance that they were at was something very unique.
Well, I think, and what you were just talking about, just with the 8K experience back at your booth, that once you get to a certain resolution and a certain you know, size of coverage, you know, your peripheral vision, all this kind of stuff, you get to a point of being able to kind of trick yourself into understanding and believing that you're actually there. I mean, we all want to go to, I mean, I can speak for myself, but I'm sure I'm speaking for a lot of other people that are listening and watching. We all want to go to space.
Absolutely.
We all want to know what it looks like to look down on Earth, and not for it to be, I'm watching a video of Earth, but for it to really feel like you are floating up in space looking downward. And it seems like we're getting pretty close to that.
Yeah. I mean, that was the experience. It wasn't a video at this time. This was like, I'm sitting outside, the resolution of what it was. You know, we're not quite, you know, 8K again is kind of the benchmark, but obviously we can't really show it anywhere, you know, yet, except on our prototype displays. Exactly. I mean, I think we're moving in that direction. We're still a little ways away from 4K broadcast, but obviously acquisition in 4K has kind of been around for years.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
I love this stuff.
Yeah, me too.
Alex Sachs, Pro Market Specialist at Canon. Really appreciate you stopping by. And
thanks for having me. This was great.